Hey everyone, welcome to another brand breakdown. Today we're doing K18. Really excited to go through this brand with you. Lots to talk about. Really awesome stuff that they're doing. A lot of personalities you can already see here, and some really cool email stuff that they're doing. A lot of content that's coming out. Did a full CBI of them. We've got a bunch of a campaign benchmarking index for them. So what are they doing? Frequency. What types of emails are they sending? We're going to go through all these different emails that we put into a swipe file for you as well, which you have access to now too. And we'll take a look at their site and some of the content and stuff that they're doing to just talk about their overall strategy and how they're working that into their email and how you can best take advantage of that too. But first, just as a reminder, my name is Brian. I'm one of the co-founders of Flow Candy. We are a Klaviyo CRM and email marketing service. We help brands that want to grow all of their email marketing full service. And we do a ton of these breakdowns. We do so many of them. We added it to our to our main navigation on our site, which you can come here. And if you like this type of content, you can find dozens and dozens of these breakdowns that have swipe files, strategy and tactics that top brands are using. We've got Cloud, David, Shein, Tarte, Feastables. Just more and more. With that said, let's go ahead and jump in and see what K18 is doing. So K18, if you don't know, K18 is a hair care brand, but more of like a hair restoration, hair science, as you can see, is a way that they're positioning themselves here. This is similar to brands like Olaplex, if you're familiar. That's, I would say, probably the most mainstream brand that's really focused in on the science of hair care, and how to actually repair, from the harsher chemicals or the quality of the water, or all these different things that go into taking care of your hair. And the unique thing about K18 is that it's actually directed more so towards restoration around like coloring, and hair treatments and bleaching and things like that. So if you consistently are dyeing your hair or something like that, the goal is to actually help you restore it at a molecular level, they say. So there's some, I'm sorry, it's taken, once I start recording, everything starts going super slow, of course. But you'll see in here, like, using synthetic biology and biomimetics, we solve hair concerns from the inside out. So they're really trying to get down to that like molecular level, which I guess they position it as one step deeper than how like Olaplex is fixing your hair. But they do a ton of this before and after stuff, which is really cool. You can see like the differences, and then directly linking that to a product that people are using to get these results. And they have a patented peptide biotech thing that's in there that, as I said, it's really focused on like bleach and color, chemical services, and heat damage and things like that. So pretty cool product. Lots of, there's a ton of testimonials around this. This is a brand that, it lives and dies by the experience of the consumer and people talking about that. We see it's gone hugely viral on TikTok. There are a lot of influencers. I actually have a list over here who said, let's see, like Hailey Bieber, Selena Gomez, Khloe Kardashian, Rihanna, Sophia Richie. Like there's Alex Earl, a TikTok, the TikToker. There are a ton of people that are posting like K18 results. So it's like their before and after of using K18. So they're really focused in on these benefits. More volume, reverses bounce depleting damage, which I'm not really sure what that means, but humidity resistant. So there's a lot of focus in on like the science and like the results of the brand. So and it's working. They're if we jump into their traffic stuff, they've got 241,000 followers on TikTok. 446,000 on Instagram. They're getting, this is over the last 3 months, almost 700,000 people coming to the site, at least per what SimilarWeb is saying. And so, there's a lot of, they're gaining a lot of virality. And that's a huge part of their strategy. If you look down here, obviously they're doing the testimonial kind of like before and after stuff, but also they have, TikTok viral favorites. So this is it's on their homepage where you can just kind of be flipping through people that have been talking about the results or doing their own side-by-side what it looks like versus what, or the before and after experiences and what products they've been buying to get those results. Um, One other thing to say here is like they did start, so they have a pro site because they started exclusively in salons, so it was something that only could be purchased through a salon. But now they obviously do D2C, and they also I think sell through like Sephora. um, I don't know if they're in any like super like mainstream retail like Target or anything like that. I think it's pretty exclusive to like the higher end retailers. But you can find a salon and stylist that is K18 certified. So they do a really big focus on the whole, salon. They're selling to stylists and professionals. I've noticed a lot of the people that are creating some of the content and the influencers, a lot of like celebrity stylists or celebrity colorists and those type of things. So a lot of really cool, they've really penetrated the market through the experts, through the subject matter expert kind of approach, which is always is a tried and true tactic amongst every in every vertical. Wherever you can find the people who have natural influence in your industry is where you're going to find a lot of success. We see brands like the first one that came to mind was Yeti doing this. Yeti has they'll go out there and find a very very niche thing, which obviously hair color is not that niche, but it's still very specific within hair care, right? Yeti will go out and find like the best fly fishermen and the people who are like professional fly fishermen, and that's who they get to start to talk about their products or use their products because it's effective for what they need it for. So some cool they're hitting the playbook really hard and using those things that we see work over and over again. um, Lastly, on the site, before we jump over to the emails, uh, tons of content on here, how-to guides, the blog, science, experience augmented reality. There's a hair rescue video series over here, like extreme hair care rescue, where they're going through and trying to help people restore their hair, um, which that's really fun. There's And then they have a lot of this is from their Future Now page, so it's all of the philanthropy and things that they're focused in: hair to stay, styles for kids, championing sustainability. And let's see what else is on here. Oh, and then Gradient. Gradient is a magazine that they are helping to publish. So again, for pros around the world, really trying to stick in that subject matter expert kind of space to be the ones where they focus in on being the people that are putting the content out there. So pretty interesting stuff. Very very cool brand. They're doing a lot of really cool work. But let's jump into their emails and what's going on. So first off, the frequency analysis. They're sending about 16 emails a month, so about 4 a week, pretty consistently. It's in that range. And the messaging strategy is pretty dialed. They scored a 10 on our by after like tallying up everything that they're sending. They're doing promotional content, promotional emails, content emails. Um, there weren't any like straight FAQs, but you know what? I'll give them that. So that will bring them up to an 11 because they are kind of answering questions, but not in a typical like FAQ format. They have subscribe and save emails, product launches, product focus, collection focus. I saw a few social proof emails, both testimonial style and like publication style. Um, didn't see any text-based or surveys. Lots of trending now. They do a lot of kind of scare, not necessarily scarcity and urgency, but more bandwagon style marketing where I think one of the headlines is I can't remember, serum or whatever, the blah 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 that sells every 2 minutes or something like that. So they found the frequency of their purchases and use that as a headline. Collabs with celebrities, and they do have some loyalty stuff. I do think there's some opportunities in here of stuff that they have that I think they could be doing a little bit more. They don't really do customer spotlights. It's more of like the before and after. But there's a lot of really good stuff in here that they are definitely like taking advantage of, but still some opportunities and ways for them to grow, and maybe just have a little bit more variety. Because that was the one thing I noticed is that they're hitting 16 emails a month, and you're going to see a level of repetitiveness in that if you're trying to send that many emails every month. Um, but I think there is an opportunity to just add, if they added 3 or 4 new templates, they could probably either increase the volume that they're sending already, from the 16 up to maybe 20, or just have a little bit more, some different angles to actually send within that 16 per month. But let's take a look. So here, let's just get a nice 50,000 foot view overview, so you can see really, first thing that comes to mind is the product blocks and the footer stay the same in every email. This is something that I really love to see, because it just creates consistency in the buying pattern. So you're going to see, customers are going to be trained to, if they come through the email, they're always going to end up at product at the end. And so I like to see that type of consistency. Overall, the colors are bright, fun, vibrant. You can tell with the, extreme, they're doing a lot of fun colors. They like to be, out there and expressive, trying to toe the line of the science, but also add in a little bit of playfulness, which, is something that I think sets them apart in this specific niche. Like Olaplex is more muted grays, tan colors, whereas K18 is very, even their typeface is a little bit more playful, and rather than scientific. So they're kind of trying to keep it relevant in terms of this is shareable and fun colors, but they still have a lot of the what you would expect of the DNA strand or the bubbles and the microscope kind of looking hair strands here. So they're doing a good job of kind of towing the line, but still keeping it fun. Which you can see is reflected in all of their emails. There's a lot of bright colors: the purples, the pinks, the greens, and yellows. But yeah, you can see they're really consistent with kind of the number of campaigns they're sending. It's pretty much at least 13 or so per month, but more typically like in that 16 range. But yeah, let's look at some of the angles that they're doing and how they're coming out. So one thing I really did love about it is they are doing a ton of education. So their content is really, really focused in on education. So, this is a product comparison, conditioner versus mask, so if somebody's trying to make a decision and figure out which one they need, if they're, for why does hair go gray, signs you need repair. So all 3 of these are more education based, and then we get hit with like a benefit email. So go 3 days longer between washes. So here's something that all right, well that is a problem. I don't want to wash my hair as frequently. So this having this air wash will let me do that. Here's a social proof email, 21,000 5-star reviews, 20 billion TikTok views, 29 plus awards. How it works. So another education email, and then another testimonial email, or like social proof. And then here we have this is more of I would say like a collection focus, but also somewhat education, where it's like, if you want to repair or protect or refresh, these are the products that you need to buy. So it gives you that kind of walkthrough of what collections we have and how to use them and engage with them if you're a new customer. Another, before and after. I think this is going to be, these are probably some of their most effective emails, I would guess. They do before and afters probably 2 or 3 times a month. And then, and even if it's not a direct, before and after, they're working it into, to a lot of different emails. You'll see before and after there, before and after there, before and after, before and after, before and after, before and after. Yeah, it's really, I mean, as we talked about before, the results are really what speaks here and what people are talking about. So they want to keep showing those results. So if we keep going through, we have another education email: what hair needs special care. Another education fact, and here we have a product feature, and a referral. So another, trying to grow their loyalty as well as getting other people into the brand. Another benefit feature. Now we have a size feature with with just new product, or like a new size of a product. So product launch pretty much. And then again, kind of like a product walkthrough. So, this is what I did notice is this is very consistent. I would say, their promotions are really few and far between. Like, I don't even think there's really a direct promotion in here. Let's see. Not in this month. Yeah, it's really just the give 10, get 10. They do have some, let's see, they have a couple discounts in here, but like I said, it is not, already 2 months have gone by and we haven't seen like a direct sale email. Nothing that's just like get 20% off. Oh, here it is. Well, I'm sorry, it's not. This is what I was talking about before. The mask that sells every 20 seconds. So that's, they're using that kind of urgency there. 10% off strong bouncy hair. Well, this is this is a welcome email. So that slipped in from Mild. So try biotech, with code welcome at checkout. Yeah, so 10% off there. They might not do campaign discounts because I'm sure they do when it comes to holiday seasons, but I don't think we have any. I think this is February through, yeah, it's January. So we don't have their Black Friday or anything from last year. Do they do a summer sale maybe? Let's see. 10% off your cart. So yeah, that's a checkout. That's welcome email. Another welcome email. Share healthy hair and get 10 off. Yeah, so I think as far as I can see right now, they're really not frequently sending any sort of discount emails. So maybe Mild is a great resource, but it's not always the most reliable in terms of getting exactly what is a campaign versus like a flow email. And so maybe there is more stuff going out via flows. It's hard to like secure all that stuff without going and spending days trying to get these emails to amass in the inbox. But I think there's this pretty evident that they're really not focused on doing the promos. It's a lot more education. It's a lot more aspirational. It's a lot more before and after and results focused to get people to buy. And yeah, I think as far as what they're doing, and what I think that they could improve is that they're, in all of this time, there's really only a couple mentions of like the content that they're creating. So we have this here, February. It might also be that they, stopped doing this extreme hair rescue because this video is from 5 months ago, and I think this is, yeah, I guess it's rescue finale episode 2. But this is the kind of stuff that the Gradient, or talking about maybe the philanthropy efforts that they're doing, or this like extreme hair rescue type stuff. They're creating content, and I would like to see a little bit more of that featured in the emails. And the reason that is that yes, we want to educate our customers. We want to speak to certain people's problems and talk about hair repair and like refreshing and that kind of thing, or the secret to SZA's smooth halftime show curls. But this is not, as consumers, they just don't care all the time. So if you can ever find something, the way that you take your campaign strategy to the next level is through entertainment, having something like this show that they can watch. And it's, the main thing is not the product, it's the process of the hair restoration. And watching them go through this, it's like like everyone loves home makeovers, or Queer Eye is a such a great show that people watch all the time, right? And so having that experience of a makeover or that kind of thing is entertaining in itself, regardless of what products they use. It just happens to be that they're using K18. And so I think with how viral and how content driven K18 is, I would like to see more of that content in the emails. I think that I could see this being the next evolution of them, is really trying to become a content engine. and not just before and after stuff. Yeah, you can build a great product and process and a lot of sales around like the before and after stuff and being really true to just having a great product. But I think we see more and more the brands that are ultimately winning, and getting acquired and things like that. They're getting acquired not just for the formula and the product and the following, but their ability to create something that is attention grabbing. Some that come to mind are, Unilever just bought Dr. Squatch, and a bunch of that was because they have a recipe now for creating content that is that's attention grabbing. Liquid Death is another one that is consistently in the forefront of people's minds because of all the different stuff that is coming out. So that's where I see, you can tell that they're trying here with the hair care rescue stuff. And I think, that's what I would want to see more of in here is a little bit, you can only talk about product and hair repair so much. And they really are. They're doing a great job, but they have probably hit their ceiling now in terms of how much people are really engaging with this. We also don't know anything about the segmentation. So I can't say like if these are going to all customers and things like that. I would want obviously like the Simone Biles that needs to go to, the full list. But does everyone need the oil that sells every 2 minutes, or like do more for hair with less, like, or is this going to, non-buyers that have opted in the last 60 days? So, I can't say much without really knowing the details of how they're segmenting all of this out. But really, to start to get to that next level and work into like what we call in the 4 levels mastery, that's where it kind of becomes like a full team engagement, because you have to have the content to actually be sharing as well. But K18 is super cool. I think they've done a really good job with their emails. They're beautiful, very fun. They are using a lot of email design system elements. So, you can tell that they are not reinventing this every time. They very consistently know that this wave is how it's going to look. Their CTAs are staying the same. They're using the same typefaces and the same, waves in their type as well. They're reusing blocks. They're reusing their product blocks all the time. So it's obvious that they have this down to a science and how they are actually designing the templates. And so really what I would like to see is just a new template or two that are more focused around content and really featuring stuff outside of just over and over again, the hair care routine type stuff. But, it all has to be tested. They might have tested it already and found that it doesn't really work, because they did have this extreme hair rescue stuff and maybe it didn't, it flopped. And so they're letting the numbers be the guide. But I think that that's the direction that a lot of brands in this new era of content are going to have to head. And so I think there's an opportunity for them to kind of capitalize on the traffic that they have right now. It might not have been that, that test if they did test it and it flopped. They might just need to keep testing and find what is going to resonate. But yeah, that's K18, how they're doing their emails. You have access to this swipe file. You're going to have access to the CBI for those quick stats we have in there as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And always remember, if you want more breakdowns, we've got a ton of them on our site already if you want to come and take a look and dive into some more. But for today, that's all I've got for you. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one.